What's going on, everybody? It's GameUnboxingReviews here, and welcome back to another LEGO Marvel Avengers news update. Now, today I have a very exciting news update because we've got some new screenshots of some characters that have already been revealed. We've got screenshots of characters that have just been revealed, like brand new ones that we have no idea about. And I also have some very exciting new details on some new gameplay details, some of the characters, some of their abilities, and also some new locations. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so first off we're going to talk about Quicksilver. Now it seems like with every video I have something new to say about Quicksilver because he really seems like one of the characters in the game that has a ton of abilities. And what I love is, when Arthur talks about the characters in the game, he always says if you expect that character to do something, chances are they will be able to do it in game. So, for example, we know now that Quicksilver can run faster than Iron Man's top flight speed and run up buildings and even slow down time, and he can take out a bunch of enemies and duplicate himself. It's just, he's got so many awesome abilities. But it has recently been confirmed officially by Arthur Parsons that not only can Quicksilver do all of that, but he can also now run on water. So yes, you can run on water as Quicksilver in LEGO Marvel's Avengers, and I know a lot of people are going to be really happy about that because I got so many comments, people saying, how fast is he? He's very fast. Can he run up buildings? Yes, he can. Can he run on water? I don't know, but now we do. Now he can run on water, and honestly, I think this is one of the coolest things ever because, the speedsters in the LEGO games haven't been the best, I will admit, but now it seems like they're just going all out and saying, look, this is Quicksilver, and we're going to deliver on exactly what you're hoping for, and I really cannot wait to just run around the city, jumping about, running on water, just running super fast through the streets of New York. That's just going to be so much fun. Now, in some other speedster-related news, I have some news on the customizer for the game. So, basically, we all know the customizer from all the LEGO games, where you can create your own character, give them powers, etc. That is back, and that is great. However, we haven't really had any specifics on it, but recently on Twitter, Arthur has recently said that they plan to allow you to give your character super speed abilities like Quicksilver. So, I think that's not a definite yes or no, but they plan to do that. And honestly, if they're saying that, then I would imagine they can. And it also makes me think, are we going to be able to just choose our powers? Because one of the complaints about the customizer in LEGO Marvel and things like that is that you can choose, you can have a certain headpiece and then you get that power, but everyone's like, no, I just want to make the character, make the design, and then choose my powers, because that just gives you more freedom, how you want to play. And hopefully they've done that this time, because hopefully, I can make a character, maybe make a character that looks like me, and just have Quicksilver's abilities and run around the city super fast as me, you know what I mean? Like, that would just be really cool, but, we will just have to wait and see. Now, besides actually being able to explore New York City in LEGO Marvel Superheroes, one of the most fun things about that game was just being able to look up and see the S.H.I.E.L.D. Helicarrier and being able to actually go and fly really high into the sky, up to the top of there, and actually walk around in it and actually go inside and everything. That was amazing. So I'm really happy to announce that, yes, the Helicarrier is back. It will be in the open world. You'll be able to go up there and visit it, and you'll also be able to skydive off it like in LEGO Marvel Superheroes, which was a really fun thing to do. I mean, that never got old. I never really seem to just jump off the edge or fly down. I always tend to skydive. It's so much fun skydiving down. It's just awesome. It really is. Now then, with that though, the S.H.I.E.L.D. Helicarrier, apparently it's going to be a little different than last time. Now, I have no idea what that means. I don't know if it's going to be different in appearance. Maybe it'll look beaten up or anything. You just never know. But it's cool to see that the S.H.I.E.L.D. Helicarrier is back, and I'm curious to know if we'll still be able to go inside it, because I did love that, and I loved, going into the S.H.I.E.L.D. Helicarrier, going into the interior and just smashing it up as the Hulk. That was just so much fun. So fingers crossed we can go inside the Helicarrier as well. Now, obviously, with LEGO Marvel's Avengers, we know that we've got a bunch of open-world locations that we can visit. Yes, they're smaller than New York, but the fact that you get to visit them is very cool indeed. And, one of my favourite open worlds in all the LEGO games combined is just New York, because I just love free-roaming New York. And one of the things I wanted so badly in the first game was the ability to go inside Stark Tower. Just to be able to go inside there would have been amazing. Sadly, you couldn't actually go inside Stark Tower. There was a mission there which was still cool, a bonus mission when you beat the game, but sadly you couldn't just wander around in it and free roam. But thankfully, with LEGO Marvel's Avengers, you can just go up to Stark Tower / Avengers Tower, because basically when you're playing through the Avengers campaign, it will look like Stark Tower, but then once you finish the Avengers, it'll become Avengers Tower in the game. So it's pretty cool. cool. So you'll actually see an evolution of it when you're playing through the story and you look in the city and stuff. So yes, you can actually go inside Avengers Tower in New York in the game, and that's awesome because, you know, for Iron Man fans like myself, that's really cool because we can play as Tony Stark. We can, you know, drive all his expensive cars, hopefully. I'm sure there'll be expensive looking cars in the game, I'm sure of that. And we can also now suit up, which is incredible. That never gets old. Every time I see that, it's just so cool. And we can, you know, play as Tony Stark normally as well. But now we can also go inside Stark Tower and walk around and do stuff. And even, not only that, but we also have Malibu Mansion. So really, this is probably the best and most authentic Iron Man experience you're gonna get, because you're getting so many armors, you're getting, you know, all these different open world areas. It's huge. It's gonna be absolutely massive, and I'm so excited to get playing it. Now, in more Iron Man news, apparently, according to comicbookresources.com, there are around 15 Iron Man armors in the game, and also they state that that's not just MCU, so there'll be comic book Iron Man armors as well, so that's really, really cool. But apparently, one of them that they have said is in the game is actually the Superior Iron Man suit, and that is extremely cool. I mean, that suit is just amazing. It's one of my favorites, and actually, I didn't know what that suit was at first until my friend Francesco actually introduced it to me, and it's so cool. It is just such a cool looking suit, and if that is true and we can use it in game, awesome. And one of the things I love about the suits in this game, you know, we have the suit ups and pretty much all the suits except Igor. There might be other suits that can't do suit ups as well, but Igor is the only one I know of so far that can't do a suit up. But let's hope Superior has its own unique animation of suiting up, because it's very different. I think it's kind of like a symbiote, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but I think it's like a symbiote, you know, from Spider-Man, Venom thing. I think it's like that. That's how he kind of puts it on. I could be wrong about that, but imagine that. You choose the Superior Iron Man suit, and then it kind of molds onto his body. Oh, man, that would just be so cool. Alright, so now we're going to move on to character details. Now, basically with the characters, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show some screenshots of the characters that have already been revealed, and then once I've done that, we're going to move on to the characters that have just been revealed, and then finally we're going to end on one that is apparently in the game according to comicbookresources.com, so that's really cool. And the funny thing is, you know, you think you know a fair bit about Marvel, you know, you think, yeah, I know this and I know that, but then, you know, Arthur and the team, they come across and go, here's this character, and I'm like, who? So I have to do a bit of research before talking about them because I don't want to get it wrong. So basically, I'm not entirely sure if these characters can do all of this in the game, but it gives you a good example of what they might be able to do. So Mantis. Mantis has the ability to communicate telepathically with plants, survive in space, fire powerful energy blasts, form energy fields, and even communicate directly with cosmic beings. So she sounds pretty cool, and apparently according to the comics, she's actually a Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, she's part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, so that's really cool. And also, I've heard rumors that she might be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 as well, the sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, that's really nice because, you know, you could go see Guardians of the Galaxy when it comes out, and then you could come home and play as Mantis and, you know, try and recreate some of the scenes that you saw in that. That's just so awesome. And apparently, you know, we heard that Nowhere from Guardians of the Galaxy is actually a hub in the game. So, being able to walk around Nowhere as, you know, Mantis, that's going to be pretty awesome. Next up, we have one of my favourite characters that I've seen so far, and it is, of course, Scar. Now, Scar is known as the son of Hulk. Now, his abilities are pretty much the same as Hulk. They're roughly the same. I mean, he does have a few unique powers, such as one I found out was the Old Power. Now, again, I don't know if this will be in the game, but what this is, the Old Power is an ability that he learned from his mother. Now, this allows him to break or mend the earth, turn his body to stone, and call up magma from the depths. Now, that is really cool. He sounds like quite a powerful character. It'd be awesome if he can actually turn his body to stone when you're playing. Maybe you hold and press a button and then he does it. That would be awesome. I think I did see a picture online of Scar in a human form. I could be wrong about that. I'm not sure entirely if he does have a human form, but if he can actually transform you know, from Scar to his human form, that would be really cool indeed. Now, also, he may have all those abilities of the Hulk and everything, but he's also a little different. He actually also has weapons. He does have a large broadsword, and the reason he has that is because he's a self-trained weapon master, so that's really cool. So yes, I'm really excited playing as Scar. One of the things I'm really looking forward to doing is going to Asgard as Scar and just fighting a bunch of dark elves. I think that just sounds amazing. Now here we have quite a familiar face. It is of course Beta Ray Bill. Now the reason I say that is because Beta Ray Bill was in LEGO Marvel Superheroes in the form of a DLC pack, which was basically the super pack, because if you remember they had the Asgard one, that was Thor the Dark World, so only movie content. But the super pack actually came with a bunch of comic book stuff, and one of them was Beta Ray Bill. So it's great to see that he's back in this game. And while I do know about Beta Ray Bill, I've seen him in Earth's Mightiest Heroes and everything, which is awesome. I highly recommend watching that show because it's brilliant and he's awesome in it as well. While I do know who he is, I don't know a lot about him, so I have done a bit of reading on him as well. So basically, Beta Ray Bill is a very skilled and fierce warrior. He has obtained powers and physical attributes similar to Thor. He's also augmenting his already powerful cyborg body. Now that's something I did not know. I didn't know he has a cyborg body, so that is really cool. So that must mean he's a little more stronger than other characters. Now, again, you know, what I want to mention is the abilities and things, you know, like I said before, this doesn't mean they're going to be in the game, it's just what that character can do in the comics, so, you know, just bear that in mind. But yes, he is also very strong, nearly invulnerable, immune to disease, and is virtually immortal. He also wields Stormbreaker. Now, Stormbreaker, what it is, it's his weapon, a bit like Thor with Mjolnir, and it allows him to fly, manipulate weather, absorb and channel various energies, and even use it as a detector. I didn't know he could use it as a detector, so that's pretty cool. Maybe you'll be able to do that in the game, like with Black Widow's hacking abilities. Maybe you go up to it with Stormbreaker, and then, you know, it allows you to hack it or something. Or actually, probably not. That'd be kind of weird. But yes, Beta Ray Bill is in the game, and he has Stormbreaker and everything, as you can see here, and it just looks really cool. And it seems like the same design from the pack, but honestly, that doesn't bother me in the slightest because I loved it. I thought that design in particular was really cool and true to the comics. So yeah, he looks awesome to me. Now here we have Michael Kovac, aka Kovac, who is also a character that featured in Marvel's Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and he is capable of energy projection, matter alteration, teleportation, and manipulation of time and space. So he's kind of like a time traveler, so that's really cool. Now I can't remember, you know, from the actual show, because it's been ages since I watched all of those episodes, because I think I watched it a couple of months back. Well, actually, no, quite a few months back, but I do remember seeing him in the show, but I can't remember, can he actually, you know, turn off that appearance? Can he walk around all human and everything? Because I honestly can't remember. If he can, you know, then that's a possibility that we may see another transformation. Because when I see these characters in the game and I look at them, I'm always like, could that character have a transformation? Could that? And I always try to think about that. Like we had Gorilla Girl. Gorilla Girl is a character that's in the game, and she can actually transform into a human self and stuff like that. So that's really cool. So I'm curious to know if characters like Kovac can do the same. Now here we have a very cool character indeed. This character is named Wendigo, and I noticed a lot of people were really happy about this one in particular in being in the game, and I really had no idea who it was at first, but when you do some reading, what I love about this game is you'll look at a character, you'll see, you know, you won't know who it is, and you'll be like, okay, who's that? And then you go and do some research and like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, it just, you see the character, they look cool, and then you read about them and they're even cooler than you first think, and it's just awesome. And Wendigo is, you know, no exception to that. He's awesome. So, Wendigo, also known as Paul Cartier, or Paul Carter, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I think it's Cartier. Now, he doesn't necessarily have any superpowers when he's in his Wendigo form, but he does possess superhuman strength, superhuman speed, superhuman stamina, regeneration, healing factor, so kind of like Wolverine, how, you know, when he gets damaged, it kind of grows back really quickly. And he also has immunity to aging and all known earthly diseases. So, you know, if somebody got a disease, it wouldn't actually affect Wendigo, so that's pretty interesting. And of course, he, you know, as you can see, he also has his claws and fangs, which, as you can expect, can do some serious damage. So yeah, Wendigo is a very cool looking character. Looking forward to playing as him. And judging by, you know, what I've researched and found out, I would imagine that he'll be very strong, just like the Hulk, you know, be able to pick up cars and smash things and all that kind of stuff. Sounds like since he's got superhuman speed and stamina and things, he might be able to super jump and run super fast and stuff like that. We know that Quicksilver can run really fast, but it'd be great if they can speed up some of the big figures like Hulk and Wendigo, because these characters, you know, they're fast. They're much faster than the minifigures and things. I mean, I remember in LEGO Marvel Superheroes, Hulk was faster, but it'd be great if we can really, you know, combine that with the new abilities. Running through the streets as the Hulk and jumping super high, you know, just going so fast, traversing through the city as the Hulk or Wendigo or anyone who has those abilities would just be a lot of fun. Alright, so last but not least, we have the character that I was talking about earlier, and it is, of course, Ryla the Destroyer. Now, apologies if I pronounced that name. So, basically, according to comicbookresources.com, this character is in the game. I really don't know a lot about this character, and I'm not sure if this is true, so just take this information with a pinch of salt. So I had to do a lot of digging on this one in particular, so apologies if I say anything wrong. But basically, Ryla is a very good hand-to-hand combat fighter due to his super strength. He also has a lot of advanced alien weaponry at his disposal, so, you know, we might see him not only have, you know, really strong abilities with his fists, but he might also have a weapon or something, so that's pretty cool. And he also has a few powers such as telepathy and telekinesis, and he can even unleash strong blasts of cosmic energy at his enemies. He sounds like a really, really powerful character. When I first read about it, I thought the Destroyer, I thought that was actually referring to both of them. I thought that Ryla was one character, and then I saw the Destroyer, and then I looked at the page again and it said Ryla the Destroyer, and I looked it up and apparently that's one of his nicknames. So yes, apparently Ryla the Destroyer is in the game. I have a really bad picture, as you can see here, because I couldn't really find anything on this character, but I'm sure once we see him in game he'll look amazing. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. I mean, let me know in the comments section below what is the most exciting thing that you've heard in this video so far. I mean, me personally, I love all of it, but I think one of the coolest things I've seen is just the fact that not only does Quicksilver have all these abilities of running up buildings and running super fast and slowing down time, but now he can even run on water. I mean, that just goes to show how far TT Games are going with this game. You know, you want that character to do something, and it can do it. And I'm also especially impressed that Avengers Tower, you can actually go inside it, because the thing is, when they announced the hub worlds and I saw that Malibu Mansion was in the list, I thought, that's great. You know, I was really happy. I couldn't believe that Malibu Mansion was in the game. But then I thought, we're probably not going to get Avengers Tower now. That's probably what we're going to get instead. But the fact that they have both, that is crazy. I mean, that just shows how far they're going. It's insane. Alright guys, so I want to thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for lots more videos real soon, and as always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.